Hi everyone! Welcome to Accounting Makes Sense, an MJ the Tutor podcast. I'm your host, MJ the Tutor. You may wonder why today's podcast is starting off without its welcoming tune. This is to signify that today's episode is a repeat of a previous episode, which offered some tidbits from the SCS pre-scene. As you may already know, the pre-scene material for May is shared with August. So, as we are dealing with the same pre-scene material, it goes without saying that the tidbits would remain the same. Anyway, I hope you've had the chance to read through the pre-scene material that has been out for a while now, and your exam preparations are going well. Here with the episode titled Tidbits from the SCS Pre-scene, May 2023. Hello everybody! You're listening to Accounting Makes Sense, an MJ the Tutor podcast, and I'm your host, MJ. In this podcast, we are focused on helping accounting students all over the world by offering a quick warm-up on various accounting and business topics, hoping to generate bigger discussions and conversations around them. If you are a CIMA case study student, then this episode is for you. For this episode, we're going to look at a couple of initial thoughts or tidbits on the SCS pre-scene material for the May 2023 exam session. This is a similar episode format to the ones I did last year as well as last February 2023, where I talk about some key points raised from the pre-scene. Anyway, I hope you guys gain some helpful insights from these episodes today to help you with your preparation. Again, I would just like to put out a disclaimer that these thoughts are simply my own opinion. You should not take these thoughts as the only important aspect of the pre-scene. There would be others. As you read through the pre-scene, you would also be able to glean for yourself other important factors to consider. My opinions here or my thoughts here are neither right nor wrong. They are simply here to offer help in analyzing situations as well as provide information from another angle. So as mentioned, our main reference for today is the May 2023 SCS pre-scene, which came out a few weeks ago. So I am actually expecting that a lot of you have already read through the pre-scene material and have already started your preparation, but I am still going to offer my 4 tidbits for today. You should take these tidbits as clues, for lack of a better word, clues into the world of the pre-scene company. Before we start off with the tidbit, a small backgrounder on this pre-scene material is to introduce the company. The company that we have for the May 2023 session is Daystruck, a quoted company offering logistics services in the fictitious country called Roundland. So let's start off with the tidbits. The first tidbit to share is on the focus of the company. Something a little bit different for this session is that our company is a company who is actually in the outsourcing business. Most of the time, pre-scene companies are presented as companies that manufacture, design, and sell their own products directly to customers. In this particular session, Daystruck has some aspects of its business that are in the outsourcing business. There is the direct part of the business where Daystruck offers transportation for goods and services for customers. But the outsourcing side is offering warehouse services, inventory management services to customers as well. So you may ask, why is this highlighted? Why is this a showcase? I think it is a good idea to have an understanding of what it is to be a specialist in a field where companies outsource services to. So a bit of mouthful there. But yeah, think about it that as an outsourcer, Daystruck will need to showcase what its specialties are. They need to actually convince the customer why they are the best company for the job and why the company, the customer, should outsource that function to Daystruck. How will Daystruck actually be able to save money for that customer? There are different reasons why companies outsource, and you as the outsourcer or Daystruck as the outsourcer will need to figure out what these reasons are to be able to present Daystruck as the solution. The subject of outsourcing is really an interesting one. Most companies will outsource functions they deem to be not critical to their core competitive advantage. But if used correctly, outsourcing to a good, reliable outsourcer, this could become an addition to competitive advantage. So that's our responsibility. At Daystruck, we need to showcase this, that we are helping companies in their strive for success, that we are offering our services as an addition to customers so that they can actually achieve their objectives and goals. The second tidbit relates to IT and the company operations, focusing on the network of employees and transportation. By the nature of the business, it is assumed that there is a high level of coordination needed to ensure we deliver products to customers at the right quantity and at the right time. There are some complexities in the deliveries at times, depending on the goods being delivered. Like, for example, if the goods are in liquid or powder form, the transportation used could be a tanker rather than your normal trucks. The packaging or storage of these goods also warrants some serious consideration. It is also mentioned that the company uses information technology, IT, a lot to help with the running of operations, be it inventory management or tracking trucks on the roads and where they are. IT also tracks driving hours for drivers, making sure they are not abusing those hours or overly tiring themselves when they are on the road, because this can lead to accidents. So as can be seen, IT is used for performance measurements, compliance to regulation, monitoring and tracking of goods being delivered, customer satisfaction, etc. So having a heavy reliance on IT would mean that our IT system should be kept top-notch and that we can't have downtime on these IT systems. The third tidbit is a mention of ESG focus. On the risk page, it actually mentions that the government has announced its desire to be carbon emission free by 2052. As a company, Daystruck has pledged to offer its services using sustainable strategies, but nothing specific is mentioned with regards to how they're going to do this or to go about it. So at the exams, if you are ever presented with a question where there's a choice or option for green solution to issues or challenges, you should talk about these key points about the government and about Daystruck. Additionally, if there are problems with options being non-environmentally friendly, you should be able to point this out in your answers. The trend of the world nowadays is that more and more consumers are aware and support companies that are eco-friendly. So it doesn't really hurt for Daystruck to be known to focus on being environmentally friendly, to opt for environmentally friendly choices. There are also the trucks to talk about that Daystruck owns. We don't know if all of these trucks are electric or fueled. The likelihood is that they are, for the most part, fueled trucks, which is not, the most environmentally friendly choice at this stage. But for Daystruck to actually replace all these trucks to electric is a big undertaking that ultimately will need big investment. So just a food for thought on that one. The last tidbit to share is the one on automation. If you've read right through the pre-scene material, this is the second to the last article of the pre-scene where they speak of Daystruck automating container terminals at their inland ports. Automation is always a big sign that the company embraces technology. Instead of being fearful of using technology to improve the services it offers, the company embraces and uses technology as a tool to enhance the services or improve the processes. This is the good side of automation. But as we know, automation also brings about a negative side, where people get threatened that they may lose their jobs and that kind of thing, that they may be replaced by robots. So being employee heavy, I'd say Daystruck as a company needs to be careful when it makes decisions about automation, that they do not forget what to do with the affected employees. These employees can be transferred, they can learn a new function or job within the same company, and there, of course, is also redundancies as an option. Redundancy should always be a last resort, and even then, when you make that decision, we need to ensure we're treating the employees properly when they are being made redundant. And that's it for this episode. I hope you were able to glean the same tidbits from the pre-scene as I did, maybe even more. Keep on reading that pre-scene to gain a better understanding of the scenario. As always, I thank you for listening to Accounting Makes Sense. I'm your host, MJ the Tutor. If you're keen to connect to be updated with the arrival of the next episode of this podcast or find CIMA resources online, please head on over to my website, www.mjthetutor.com. You can also hit subscribe on whichever platform you are using to listen to this podcast. If you want to connect on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under the name MJ the Tutor. So I hope to see you again next time. Ciao for now!